All right. Hello, everybody. My setup's going to look like I am an absolute nightmare. But welcome to Talking with Y'all. I just figured it's been a hot minute since I've just kind of sat down and done a stream properly, like 100% went and done it. Uh, I do not plan on like doing anything stupid or like deleting uh, old streams. I really don't want to do that. But it appears, and I'm not saying we have to do this, I'm just saying it looks like a thing, that I might have to. Wait, what does this mean? Oh, okay, well, I just hope that this doesn't delete on YouTube. Sorry, I'm getting used to this new, like I said before, on this whole streaming ordeal. I'm not 100% used to um, doing any of the like streaming and stuff and what have you. It just seems like I'm sorry. I'm just focusing on a lot of other things right now because I'm also working on checking a few things. Okay, so when I remove it, it's not removing the stream. As long as I don't actually, delete it off of YouTube, we'll be just fine. Because it appears. So I back up practically every single stream I do. And so, doing that and doing things of the sort can be a bit confusing, concerning, things like that. Um, I popped out for a second. That was not my intention. Apologies. Um, However, I wanted to bring up a couple things that have been coming up in the gaming world recently, and a couple of things that have been changing up in my life recently. Just wanted to bring them up very briefly. First things first, you may have noticed I'm not doing a lot of gaming content anymore. It's because I've been weighed down with personal issues, and I've been extremely stressed. I've talked to my friend Cameron about this. He's a wonderful dude. If we're lucky, I'll get to see him later in chat, which for me is over there. But if we do get to see him, I'm going to talk about a few things that he has mentioned and or brought up to me about things that he wants to see me talk about or bring up, things like that. Now, I do want to apologize for the quality of my webcam. It's a little on the frazzed side, but I think it's because my whole streaming ordeal is literally all over the place. I also have Discord opened so that in case he wants to bring up something, he by God can. If he does join me, that's going to be a different ball game, and we'll see how well that goes. So let's talk about a couple personal things that have been going on in my life. Number one, I've been doing a lot of like, how do I say this? I've been doing a lot of kind of like blocking out things. I've been kind of blocking out the way I've been living, I guess is the right word. I don't know. How do I explain this without explaining? I guess I can only put it bluntly. I'm right now in the process of moving basically everything I know and love out of my mother's house and moving it to where I currently am. That way I can store it not get rid of it, protect it at all costs. Because there's a lot of things I don't want to get rid of. There's a lot of things I don't want to lose. And frankly, if certain people have their way, you know what? I'm going to leave my hair right where it was. But if some people get their way, I might lose some of that stuff. I don't want to do that. I don't want to lose anything that I've had. One thing I have done is pass it down to a friend of mine who has a child who needs things to be raised. And hopefully when the kid grows up, they either give it back to me or whatever. I hope they give it back to me, because if they do, that'd be great. It means I technically wouldn't lose anything of value. But there's been, I guess, I can say a lot of like mental stress, because recently at work I lost a headphone of mine and had to actually go out and buy another pair of headphones, which is an oofy, but whatever. I did want to bring up a subject that I think people may or may not be interested in. I've spoken a lot on this channel about Knight Rider, Star Trek a little bit, railroads, vlogs, and pretty much the whole 9 yards of simplistic subjects that I am easily getting access to. And they're not simple. None of the things I have seen from creators is simple. I mean, if you look at, my friend Cameron, his games are nowhere near simple. What he's done and what he's created, like I've said a gazillion times, are universes that cannot be beat. They cannot be beat. They cannot be destroyed. And of course now they're coming under fire with people like, oh, there's one coming out that's better in this respect, and there's one coming out that has this thing that you don't have. But you don't make a game to compete on Roblox. You don't. You make it because you really want it to be out there in the world, created, so that people can say, I know who made this, or I know who made that. Speaking of which, welcome, my friend. Welcome. Good to see you. Always good to see you. That is amazing. It's like every time I bring him up, he shows up, and it's awesome. And I love him for it. I absolutely love him for it. I cannot deny that every time I see his name pop up in my streams, it makes me smile. It really does. A couple new things that I wanted to bring up was we're going to be, me and Cameron particularly, we're going to try and do a video, not this week, but next week. I'm going to hop on his Star Trek game, and we're going to see what he added, because I've only seen it once. I've only seen his Star Trek game once, and it blew me away. I haven't been a huge fan of Star Trek. I'm usually the kind of guy who just kind of exists on Star Trek and is like, yeah, this is cool, who's a better Spock, things like that. But when it comes to the spaceships, I have an unconditional love for them. They're amazing. They're wonderful. They are 10 out of 10 amazing, designs. The original Star Trek, Starship Enterprise, the Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine. Even though I've heard bad things about Deep Space Nine. But, people love the spaceships because, it's something where we can look into the future and one day we'll have nacelles and we'll have warp drives and we'll have things that will make us blip across space in an instant. And some people try and build them to scale and fail. And there's the people who don't build them to scale, but they look cool. And then there's Cameron, who built them to scale and managed to make it look cool and functional. So, don't know how this guy does it, but whatever kind of genius runs through his head is baffling. It's top tier uh, gameplay, game mechanics, everything. It's just amazing. And I can't thank Cameron enough for being a very interesting part of this channel. I never thought I'd live to see the day that I get references made to me in games, but there we go. I've got references. Trust you guys. True, you guys give me the power to go on and keep moving. Yes, it is true. I do my very best. I guess bringing this up again, I might as well do this. The whole point I started this channel was to take underdog game developers, people who don't make a lot of games, people who don't come into the limelight, people who you don't see in the public eye, and take their games and show them off. That was my original plan. Hang on a second. But that was my plan. I wanted to be the guy who chases after indie developers. I wanted to be the guy who chases after the one or two people developing a game. And at the time, that was easy because I was finding games left and right, like 1, 2, 3 people making them. And it was a lot of fun. It was always entertaining. It was always, above and beyond seeing people who have so much time on their hands to make a game and perfect it and make it a golden gem. And then you have the games that I've played that aren't, 1 or 2 developers. For example, Five Nights at Freddy's is a big one. Five Nights at Freddy's made by Scott Cawthon. Then you've got me playing The Impatient, which I need to get back to. I really want to go back to doing horror. I want another horror game. And that is a great job you are doing because small developers never get the spotlight, but people like you open the doors to us. I am highlighting this statement. I want to highlight this real quick because Cameron's right on something here. I'll go back to talking about the other games I've played, but I want to highlight this comment right here. I want to highlight this because he's right. If you have the ability to open the door for a developer to build his game and no one touches it, it's not your fault that no one goes and plays the game. But if you have the ability to do something like this, then you have an obligation as a YouTuber and as a creator to help fund people like this. Because if you don't, they're going to quit the gig. They will quit the gig and we will lose that developer either indefinitely or for a certain length of time. So having this tells me that we need more people to play low developed games. And of course, we have people that do this. We have people who make games, who play low time games or games that are made by just a few people, and we have that exist. But most of the people play the games that have hundreds of developers, thousands of developers, people working on it. AAA games, basically. Warhammer games. Games on Steam. A lot of games on Steam have a lot of developers. I know that I play Transport Fever on the side, and that has hundreds of people behind it. And I know that I play games like I play Minecraft. Minecraft was made by one guy, and that technically falls into my category of helping somebody who started out doing building one person. But of course now it's a multi-billion-dollar project, so it really doesn't fall into the category of small-time developers. Then you have every single person on Roblox. I know that'll sound crazy to some people. But everybody who plays on Roblox technically is contributing to a developer, a small-time developer. They're contributing to it. Not by a lot, but they're contributing. because each game that you play, regardless of how many people are currently playing it, they had to start somewhere. They had to start from ground zero and build up, and you can't make a hit overnight. It just doesn't happen. Look at Five Nights at Freddy's, which is a perfect example. Scott did it all by himself, I think. I will get to that comment in a second. But Scott started with just himself and a few people, and those people told a few more people and a few more people, blah, blah, blah. And now it's games. There's a parody movie. There's a new movie coming out. Books, movies, spin-off games, all this stuff. It's insane. But going on to this next subject. Yeah, on Roblox, people mostly play games that are easy to make, but the ones that don't put in the work never meet up as much as the people who make simple, easy games. And also, but my plan is to change that by expanding ways to make games on Roblox. These comments. See, this is what Cameron's good at. He knows that he is a small-time developer. He gets it. He understands that not a lot of people found his game. But he knows now that because people have found it, more people are going to. And he needs to keep developing it to make it better. That is the kind of people I look for. Those are the kind of people I'd love to work with. Now, is every developer like that? No, not in the slightest. There are people who do not care whether or not people play the game or not. And those people are just sad to me because it's like, you spend all this time and all this effort and all this money on a game, and then you don't expect people to play it. I see a problem there. I see a problem there big time. And then you have people who are like, I want everyone to play this game. I'm going to, sponsor the heck out of it. I'm going to throw it at people. I want people to play this game. And yeah, that's a brilliant idea. Throw people into your game. Yeah, sure. But if you do it incorrectly, you're going to end up with more problems than you are going to end up with people. Because the launch of a game sells the game. The way that the game is announced sells the game. But it's not how the game sells that's important. It's how the game works. Look at Cyberpunk. It was supposed to be a next-gen game on next-gen consoles of current year. And it was supposed to be a big game with Keanu Reeves, customization, Easter eggs, all this stuff. And when it launched, it was a broken mess. It was broken. There was so much wrong with it that memes, and jokes and internet posts and trolls and things like that came out of the woodworks almost instantly to tear the game apart. And that's what big-time developers will end up eventually doing. You can't make a masterpiece every time. It's like my dad said, you can please some of the people all the time, or all the people some of the time, but you can't please all the people all the time. And when it comes to that, you really have to bite a bullet and say, do I want to release something the public wants, or do I want to release something just to shut the public up? And that's wrong. That is 100% wrong, because if you develop something just to shut people up, it's not going to be a good game. It's not. It's going to be a game that just exists. Pardon me. But it's just a game that exists. And it seems from time and time again that games that people want to blow up and have popularity never do. And then when they do, and everybody jumps on it, all of a sudden the game developers stop caring about what the people want and what the money makes. So what does this say here? Yeah, you can't just make a game in a day. You have to put in the work, and I am the type of developer likes to talk to the fans so that I will know every problem. Bingo. I just brought this up, and I'll bring it up again purely for this comment. Thank you, Cameron. You bring up a wonderful point. If the developer chooses not to speak to the fans that he currently has, he's never going to fix the game. Now, he might fix a few things that he notices, but if the fan notices something and points it out, shouldn't the developer try and fix it? Shouldn't the person who is designing the game attempt to fix it as much as possible? I mean, look at me. I've been doing this for almost 6 years. Coming up in November, I have, if you haven't noticed, a slated video for basically my 6-year anniversary of when the channel was officially released. But if you haven't noticed, this is getting in my eyes. You're going to have to deal with terrible lighting. If you haven't noticed, over the 6 years, I've changed as a YouTuber. I started out vlogging, I went to gaming, and I haven't looked back. I do traveling, I do train chasing, I do just about anything I can make on content. And this channel slowly continues to grow. Now, could I have done that on my own? No, because I had to start out like every other YouTuber I know out there. Had to tell my family about it. I had to tell my family. And YouTube is kind of like being a game developer. Now, that sounds controversial, but hear me out. With YouTube, you have to create the content that you think is right for you. And once you start making content, and once you get those subscribers and the view count rolling in, that is when you start taking advice from the fans. You don't take their advice on, you should totally change how you act about this. You should totally change how you da-da-da-da-da. Don't do that, because you'll bury yourself into a hole and you won't be the person you started out as. If you want to do what you think is best, you listen to what the fans have to say. You listen to their, not their criticism, because their criticism you can easily read and be like, yeah, okay, I understand that, yada, 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 or take the jokes that come along with it. However, take their advice on games you should play, things you should go do, and people you should talk to. Because if they're mentioning this, they're trying to tell you, hey, I'd like to see this happen. Hey, this would be cool for you to do. This collab would be amazing. To be honest, I want to do a collab with Hololive End's Myth. I would love to do a collab with Calliope Moria, Amelia Watson, Guagura, and Ina. I'd also love to do it with Iris. I'd love to work with Iris. Now, that's, of course, you know, a whole different ballgame. I'd like to work with VJojo on Twitch. That'd be amazing. Do a thing with the people from Twitch, because I love Silvervale and I love Meanders, and I'm saying names that people just don't know who they are. It doesn't make, you know, people are like, who are these names that you're throwing out? And that's the thing. That's the beauty of it. Is as a YouTuber, you are technically also a developer as well. Because you're not only developing your channel, but you're developing every single game that you come across. You are helping to grow that game in popularity. You are helping to show people that game, you know, is something you're interested in. And if I'm interested in that, and let's say Markiplier is interested in the same game. I remember distinctively years ago, I was into Resident Evil. Loved Resident Evil. He played Resident Evil 7, and I own Resident Evil 7 because he played it. Now, that's what I'm talking about. If I can make someone say, hey, I know that game. I want to play that game because this person played it. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I really, really, really want to do. And it doesn't matter if one person does it or 2 people do it or 1,000 people do it. I contributed to that person's dream of being a game developer. And of course, there's other people out there who don't need my help. Clearly, they don't need my help. I'm a low-time YouTuber. I will probably no one clip this, but like, I know there's going to be clippers out there years from now. But it's like, I'm not going to be a big-time YouTuber. I don't see that happening. I see me maybe getting a couple thousand subscribers in the next 12 years. Like, seriously, I don't see myself going anywhere. Hey, we just got actually something important. Let's take a look at this. I want to read this. This is a message for all developers who do not have the money. Focus what's to be done. If you focus on the money, you will lose the value in your game. Cameron, you are right. You are 100% right. Because now this is a genuine. He's being honest here. If you focus on the money aspect of a video game and you expect it to take off like a rocket ship and you expect it to make millions, you're going to lose the concept of the game. Okay, the whole concept of a game is to be an experience. Games are meant to be experiences. They're supposed to transport you to a world that you didn't know existed. And if you knew it existed, it's supposed to give you a take on what that person believes the world's supposed to be. Case in point, if you look at every single video game out there, what do you notice? They're all either first person, third person, city builder, simulation, or RPG. Okay? You have thousands of game genres out there that no one knows exist except for the handful of people that touch them. And then you have the people who play games that I know exist. Have you ever heard of Untitled Goose Game? Untitled Goose Game. The game doesn't even carry a title, technically. Okay? But it also has a title. And all it is a game about you being a goose. That game, at one point, exploded on the internet. You want to talk about another game that exploded? Power Washing Simulator. All right? Power Washing Simulator. Thank you, Cameron, for that comment, by the way. Power Washing Simulator, it's power washing. Of course, there's lore behind it that you eventually figure out, but whatever. Yeah, and the next thing with me am a developer who plays my games so that I also view it from the player's point of view. Brilliant. Concept, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Okay? Now, this goes to game testers. This goes to beta testers kind of level stuff, what he's talking about. So, if you don't know what a beta tester is, for those of you who aren't tech savvy, a beta tester goes into the game before the game is released and gets to try it. They are basically the people who come in before anyone else gets to see it, and they get to witness it in a raw form. And when that happens, they basically can say, here's all the stuff I love, here's all the stuff I don't like. And in doing that, they are contributing to how the game works. And so let's say there's a glitchy texture or something doesn't line up right or looks a little off. If that happens, the game developer can take the game and fix it before it goes to mass production. Pre-ordering games is a both wonderful and bad idea. Pre-ordering a game means that you are backing the game up before it even exists. You have no idea what the game is about. You may have seen the trailers for it or the teaser trailers, but backing it up before you even know what it is risky. Because you are pre-ordering a game that you have not seen gameplay footage of. And if there is gameplay footage of it, it's beta gameplay footage, which means it's unfinished. So once you get the finished product, you have no idea what you're going into because you pre-ordered the game. Okay? I do not pre-order stuff. Okay? I don't. There's only, maybe 4 things I pre-ordered. 4. I pre-ordered 4 things. My Unis Honest shirts, my Unis Honest flag, and the Unis Honest U2s. Now, the reason I don't keep the U2s in frame is because, or the shirts, is because if you haven't noticed, my background, I have a window. I don't have a wall to hang up any of this stuff. However, I still carry them. I still hold them. I know people who wear their Unis Honest merch out in public. You know, I've got a friend who wears it out all the time. He wore it today, in fact. And, oh, I hear noises. There goes my dad walking around in the kitchen. I panic because every time I make an update, if there's a mistake in the update, everyone sees it. Yes, but Cameron, I want to point something out to you. Talking directly to you. Mistakes are what make a game beautiful. I know that'll sound insane, but if you mess something up, it gives you a chance to make it better than it already was. So if you mess up a tiny insignificant detail and you choose to change it, that little detail you just improved to make the game better. Okay? Let's say, for the sake of this argument, I'm going to bring this up because it's a true argument that I've had. You have a leveling system in the game. It's purely based on skill. Purely based on skill. And the only way that you can level up is to keep making yourself better. It's not about how much experience you get, it's about how well you do. Then the developer decides, what if people don't want to have this game? What if they don't want to grind at this game to be better? They invent a battle pass, or they invent a pass system to basically change the game. And so now, any schmuck with a debit card or credit card or even money that their mama or grandma gave them can just right off into top rank gamers. Yet they have absolutely no skill. And mistakes are the best way to learn. I agree. Now, I've only got about 20 minutes left, so we're going to see how well I can do, how long I can keep this up. Because I'm going to text my friends and see if their plans are still up for. We still going out? Question mark. Sorry, my friends and I are planning some stuff. And I just wanted to make sure that everything's fine. Now, Cameron, if you're okay with it, where the hecky heck did you go? I'm going to get a hold of him real quick, and we'll see what happens while we do a chitty chitty chat chat. Let's see if this works. Because I really want to talk to this guy. What's my best Star Trek ship? I like the USS Enterprise Next Generation. That's my favorite. Come on, buddy. Pick up the phone. I want to actually talk to you straight up. Ah! Phone drop. Oh, it's my friend. I'm getting so many people. Hold on here. So he just straight up thought I was still. He thought he was on stream. By the way, that was my friend Kelson Cross. He's a wonderful guy. Sorry, Cameron. I completely misunderstood what you were saying when you said your mic was broken. But yes, my favorite ship is Star Trek Next Generation USS Enterprise season. Whatever, doesn't matter. It was still a good show. Yes, he just freaked out that he was on stream. But I've got to go. Everybody's waiting for me. We're actually going to go and celebrate a few things while I'm out and about. So I want to thank you all for joining me on this stream. Thanks for watching the VOD that comes after it. Thank you, Cameron, for showing up and bringing up excellent arguments. Okay? Not really arguments, just points in general. Because my word, this guy, okay, if you don't know who he is, for those of you who have no clue, go check him out because he is the developer of the Knight Rider game that I love so dear. Okay? And Cameron is an amazing guy. All of the people I've ever played with are amazing people. but like getting to actually have a developer like him reach out and say, "Hey, I'm the guy that made this game. You want to keep collaborating?" is amazing. So he's an awesome guy. Go check his stuff out. I will be seeing him in the near future, hopefully. And what I'd love to do is love to go meet this guy in person. I'd personally love to go do that. I know it'd be extremely different. We will have a gift for you. Oh, what did you do? What are you doing? Every time he says he has a gift for me, it's either a reference to my YouTube channel or he's actually going to go and build something for me soon. Oh, I don't know. I want to know, so don't tell me. It gives me something to think about because my mental status has gone up. So speaking of which, beginning of the stream, I said I was not doing well. As you can tell, my voice has gotten a little higher pitched. My voice has kind of gotten more energetic, and I'm moving around a bit more in the stream. That's because YouTube does that for me. Every time I get someone like Cameron who comes on and gives me support, gives me ideas, gives me conversations to talk about, makes me feel better. It really does. So I want to say thank you, Cameron, for helping me become a better YouTuber and definitely getting up there. There's a lot of people I want to quickly give some shout outs to. So I'm going to run through the list of shout outs and we're going to see how well this goes because I've got to go. Officially, the first person I want to shout out is my brother, Timothy Keppel, or Golden Fantasy. He was one of the first people to ever put me on YouTube. It was amazing. I want to thank another friend of mine, Violet Phoenix, for joining me on several videos. I will something to put a smile on your face. Please do. Whatever you do, put a smile on my face because I can't wait. Cameron Murray gets another shout out. He is an absolutely amazing person. DreFillet13 gets a shout out on Twitch. He's a wonderful guy. Go check his Twitch out if he's got anything on Twitch. Homicidal Lollipop on Twitch or Murder Pop, whichever one it is. Go check her out on Twitch. She's an absolutely amazing person. I'll get a final shout out to, real quick, I will give a shout out to, who was it? There was someone I was going to give a shout out to. Who was it? Can't remember their name. At this very moment, I cannot remember their name. As soon as I remember it, I'm going to post it. Oh, another thing. Go follow me on Twitter if you know that I have a Twitter now. It is under the tag of my... it's not under this tag. This tag is not the right tag. But it is under Gamerman4014. So you can go check me out on Twitter. I'm not active on there completely. I'm not even active on Snapchat anymore. Like Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter. Those are the three things that I have because my friends have it. And I'm only active on it purely because they are. And that's the only reason. I'm also on Twitter to follow other YouTubers and stuff, get ideas and stuff, and kind of bounce off of them. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining this stream. Thank you, Cameron, for particularly joining this stream. You guys are awesome. You should feel awesome. If you want to keep supporting me on this channel, hit the subscribe button, notification button. Let me know you've been here by commenting in the comment section. Cameron, I know you perfectly well. If you will post a comment in this video, on this stream, when it comes out as a VOD of your games, so the link to the Knight Rider game and the Star Trek game, do so. I will pin that comment so that it is always top comment so that people can go check it out. Please go and do that for me. That'd be amazing. Anyway, I officially got to run. You guys are amazing.